to another episode of Beauty Beyond Mirror with me and Chithra. And we are so happy to be here again to chat with you. It's going to be exciting, by the way, because this time I'm actually, interviewing Chithra because there's a lot you don't know about her. Trust me, there's a lot. So here we go. So I'm always interested in knowing Chithra.
Okay.
Seeing that you're a business person yourself, seeing that you do a lot and you're so successful at it. Your skin Centrick company is doing so well. I'm always fascinated to know if anyone is trying to get into business, how do they even get started? I mean, like building up a business and really like managing it to be so successful like yours.
Thank you for calling me a successful. I still treat myself as like in progress, a learner in progress is how I do say, and work in progress is how I see myself. And I'm glad that you asked me this question because it's definitely going to benefit many women out there. So today I think I'll take this time and take this opportunity and I'll dissect into different phases in case if you wanted to start a business of your own. Many have the inspiration. I'll tell you, every individual at one point in their life, they feel like, okay, I'm doing this work and I'm slogging, I'm giving a best. How about me starting something on own? And with that said, there would be tons of ideas everyone would have. They will sleep with an idea, or when they wake up, they feel an idea. But idea alone is not enough. It's like execution, how you're implementing it and how you're taking it forward. So in today's episode, I think I'll be very happy to share the different stages of it. Number one is step one, I say, is like having a constructive idea. I don't want today, okay, I'm going to make apple. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to harvest oranges. So it's like, as long as it is the same harvesting thing, it's fine. But what I mean to say is like solidifying an idea. Like you cannot keep running into multiple things, which is like, okay, today I wanted to create a product for a software. Tomorrow, out of nowhere, from no blue, okay, I'm going to start a coffee shop. Yes, eventually you can do everything, but you needed to start with something. So number one is having a good constructive idea. And anything you get it, I would always say, do not have ideas in your brain, because brain is like a database, a repository where things will keep on storing it. But unless you record it anywhere, it's not going to be anywhere. Just take a pen and a paper. Whatever ideas you get it, just keep it, write it down. So when you look back at 9 out of 10 times, what would happen is like, just because we have 9 ideas, not everything could be implemented, or maybe 8 out of 9, something would have implemented already. So it's you're trying to reinvent the wheels. So instead of saying that, have your ideas, see, and then take it to next step. Okay, if you have an idea, if you think that it could work, then start dissecting it. In case if I wanted to implement this idea, what are all the steps I needed to follow? Sometime it could be just research, like you needed to do a lot of research on what that idea knows. For my example, out one day, I think you would have seen in my earlier episode that I decided to start my own skincare. Do I know about skincare? Oh, hell no. I don't know anything about it. All I know is like, okay, skincare, but I don't even know what formulas go into it, where it needs to be produced, what degree it needs to be stored, what kind of bottle, where the label would be printed. I just stepped into this world with lot of unknowns, but I was prepared to know and learn as I go. I didn't stop it. In many cases, people will try to have the picture, then they get into it. But I just jumped into it and then I started learning swimming. Is that a right way? I'll say no, because it's not that everything would work that way. So at least have a 50% plan of what you're going to do, where you're going to be implementing it, and what's the next step. And do you have enough funds to have this idea? At least to start with. You can plan about investors, you can plan about bringing some thing, you can have about the business proposal, but even to go that state, there is an investment in place, whether you could able to make it. And some plans you don't even need any investment, it's just that you needed to put in a lot of efforts. So I would call this as a step one. So with that step one, once you have a solid idea, once you know how you're going to take it forward, the next step is, what is the implementation difficulties is what I would say. Okay, now I have an idea, I'm going to implement this, but in order to actually implement this, what are all the possible issues that I'm going to run into. Do I have all answers, or am I dependent on others? And the reason why I'm taking it to my skincare is, I'm just giving you an example. In my case, even though I do have that I needed a skincare, most of the time I don't even know the answers. It's like I'm dependent on others. The reason is, all the formulations, I needed a chemist to get me the formulation. I may know the main ingredients. Like, for example, I do know I needed to put turmeric, but with that turmeric, I wasn't too sure what are all the combinations that needs to go in for it to preserve it in a safe way that it doesn't get spoiled, right? So a lot of unknowns, I was dependent on others to get it done. So chemist is one in my case of starting my beauty brand. Number two is, I needed a manufacturing unit, like where they could able to manufacture it. I cannot have my own manufacturing unit. It is on a cost stuff.
Yeah.
So I needed to find out who are all the contract manufacturers that I could able to get in. So that is step two. In your idea, in order to implement it, is everything is something whether you could do it or are you dependent on others. In case if you are dependent on others, is it even worth it? Like, if you're going to make $1, but if you're going to give $2 to others, is it even worth it? Like, sometimes you could burn money so easily, you don't want to do that. So number two is making sure it's there. But after doing it, take baby steps. Start with something. So this is how I would see that you needed to take one plan at a time, putting it in paper, and then doing a deep dive, doing a research, coming up with all the dependencies. And then you can start with must-haves and nice-to-haves. In order to put this particular plan, you needed certain must-haves. That is, no matter what, it cannot stop, you need to do it. And then there are some things like nice-to-haves, like beautifying it, adding another layer, bringing in another stuff, and then you could do it. So I'll say everyone has an idea, but trust me, guys, women are always strong. And if you put your heart out there, obviously, we need more and more and more women CEOs. And as I was saying, beauty industry is all about women and all for majoritively, I would say women is somebody who doing it. But unfortunately, it's not as diverse. The percentage of women CEOs in this beauty brand is very, very less than 10%.
Yeah.
I don't know whether to say it's as a shame or like how to see it, but unfortunately, we want, there are not much of women representatives in those areas, and I wanted, but women are very, very, very powerful. So I wanted more and more and more women to come in and then take all the C-level executives stuff, and that's how I see.
Well, you guys have heard, you heard it straight from Chithra. That's how she does it. To become successful, follow her steps. They're very important. Write it down, your idea, come up with a plan, and then know how to proceed forward following her steps, because that's how you're going to become successful. So with that, I believe it's a wrap.
Yes.
And she did mention that mentorship is very important. So if you need to be a mentor, if you need a mentor, not that if you need a mentor, you really should have a mentor. If you're starting out and it's a new business, you really should have a mentor regardless.
That is true, I would say. And do not always expect success, because success is not for everyone, is how I put it. Reason is, you will not learn until you see a failure. So failure is a stepping stone of success.
Ooh, love that.
Is how I see.
That's beautiful, eh?
Thank you.
You will not learn unless you see failure.
Yes.
You will not learn. See failure, so fail.
Yes.
It's okay to fail.
Yes. Do not be afraid to fail.
Don't be
and
afraid.
Learn your lessons from whatever you fail.
Mistakes.
But thank you, Lumbie, for that. And I hope from whatever you've asked me and from whatever the inputs I've given, the viewers would have benefited. And you are also a successful CEO for sure, running JB Dondolo in so many causes. So as she mentioned, mentor is really needed. And for any mentorship, for any questions, I think we are there. You could always reach us. We'll go from there. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.